Open up, sexy __. That's what they called her. Not ma'am, not instructor, not senior chief. For young Marines pumped full of testosterone. Furious they'd been humiliated by a woman. Angry that the only person they couldn't outperform was a Navy SEAL who made them look like amateurs. Before we continue with this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Also, drop a comment below and let us know, where in the world are you watching from? We love seeing our global community. Now, back to how it all collapsed around them. Senior Chief Ava Sloan stepped off the transport vehicle in a plume of desert dust, boots hitting the concrete pad with surgical certainty. She wore no sunglasses, no smile, no excess rank, just a regulation ball cap, a tightly rolled sleeve, and the kind of posture that made younger men stand straighter without knowing why. Range Annex 9 didn't look like much. A scattering of squat beige buildings, a kill house made of prefab walls, a cage gym with rusted pull-up bars, and a desert perimeter that stretched endlessly under the sun. The kind of place where discipline either hardened or broke. Ava had been sent here under a standardized readiness augmentation assignment. Military speak for go fix it quietly. The unit had underperformed in 2 consecutive certification cycles. The command blamed cohesion issues. The paperwork told one story, but the woman who'd signed her deployment packet had whispered a different one. Watch the dynamic, she'd said. There's a group problem, but no one's writing it down. Ava walked past the admin trailer without waiting to be announced. She didn't need an introduction. She was wearing it. 43, 13 deployments, 7 years as a SEAL instructor, and not one line of wasted motion. They noticed her the second she passed the training pad. Younger Marines paused mid-PT. Some sat up straighter, some didn't. One of them muttered something under his breath, just loud enough to carry on the wind. Sexy __, another snorted, pretending to cough over it. Ava didn't slow down. She heard it. She registered the voice, the weight, the tone. But her shoulders never twitched. Her hands never moved. Her reply was silent. A mental tag archived and indexed. They thought they were being clever. She was taking inventory. Inside the training bay, she stepped up onto the platform where briefings were normally delivered, flipped open her binder, and stared out at 38 men and 2 women seated on cinder blocks and metal benches. Her voice didn't rise. This course is 2 weeks, she said. You either meet the standard or you go home. Simple. No introduction, no friendliness, no call me senior chief preamble. Just the line like a blade in sand. She held the silence for a beat longer than expected, just long enough for their smirks to falter. Then she turned and walked away. From the back, one of the younger ones laughed low, performative, trying to recapture the room. She thinks she's one of us. A second voice followed. Nah, she thinks she's above us. Ava didn't turn around, because she didn't need to correct them yet. She just needed to watch. Let them speak. Let them reveal what the paperwork couldn't. The first 3 days at Range Annex 9 were heat, repetition, and resentment. Ava ran the cadre the same way she'd run every high-performance evolution since she left active deployment. No wasted motion, no favoritism, and no tolerance for slop. But this group wasn't just failing physically. They were failing culturally, and they wanted her to feel it. They dragged their boots through warm-up drills. They fumbled rifle handoffs, just slowly enough to make it seem accidental. They took twice as long to gear up when she was the one calling times. It wasn't mutiny. It was performative disobedience, a silent show of unity against the woman who didn't belong. But Ava never raised her voice, never flinched. She simply watched them fail on their own time, documented everything, and kept her face unreadable. She knew the game, make the instructor look weak, by group loyalty through shared contempt, and hope she'd crack. They were betting on the wrong opponent. On day 4, the lesson was arrest to custody transitions. A drill built to test control without escalation. They paired up on the mat. Corporal Rohr stepped forward, smug motioning Pike over. I'll demo this one, he said. Ava looked at him once, then turned to the rest. No, she said. Watch. She moved to the mat, waved forward the largest trainee, Klein. He hesitated, confused. She nodded. Grab my right wrist aggressively. Don't pull your strength. He complied. 1 second later, he was flat on his back, gasping, his arm pinned across his chest. Ava wasn't even breathing hard. Silence. No applause, no nods, just the sound of swallowed egos. Pike cracked a nervous laugh. Damn. SEAL Mommy's been practicing. Snickers followed. Ava stood. Her voice remained clinical. You don't need strength to win, she said. You need control. If you can't maintain it under pressure, you're a liability to everyone around you. She walked off the mat. Behind her, Roar's voice came low, but not low enough. I know what I'd let her control. Day 5 opened with dry heat and live weapons. LCPL Pike rushed his turn. Weapon sweeping too high in the second room, muzzle crossing his partner's shoulder. Ava's voice was instant, sharp, but low. Freeze. The line locked up. Pike turned, already defensive. That wasn't a sweep. Your muzzle crossed his line. Come on, Chief. It was like an inch. An inch kills someone at night. She marked the clipboard. Fail. Pike stepped forward, aggressive now. No warning. You're not owed one. This isn't a rehearsal. He looked at the others. Guess that's how it is when you've got a SEAL with something to prove. Some chuckled. Ava didn't flinch. She stepped forward slowly. You don't get to bluff your way past a safety violation, she said. Step off the line. The command hit like a slap. He did. Later, Gishlair finally spoke up. All right, let's reset and move. Ava turned slightly. He's done for the day. Instructor call. Lair's jaw tensed, but he didn't argue. Not out loud. Later, while the others cycled through dry fire drills, Lair walked over. They're young, he said, voice low. Push too hard, you'll lose the room. Ava didn't look up from her notes. I'm not here to win the room, she said. I'm here to certify readiness. That night in the barracks hallway, lights low, boots scuffed from drill, Roar, Pike, Klein, and Sear sat outside their room, laughing quietly over a phone screen. She walks like she's untouchable, Roar said. Like none of us can touch her. Klein grunted. She's got the command wrapped. Roar nodded, then smiled. Not for long. He didn't raise his voice, didn't name a plan. But the others looked at him, and something passed between them. The instructor barracks at Range Annex 9 sat just beyond the kill house. Ava had taken one look at the floor plan and known the truth. Blind spots don't happen by accident. Behind the barracks stood the gym cage. Ava didn't claim it. She just used it. Every night after the day's final evaluation, she trained pull-ups and slow sets of 10. More than once she'd caught them watching from the edge of the cage. First it was Sear, then Pike, then Klein. She didn't confront them. They didn't see a woman staying sharp. They saw a body that shouldn't move that way in her 40s. A contradiction they didn't know how to process. And men like that, they don't attack when they're sure they'll lose. They attack when they believe they're in control. The sun dropped behind the Redline Hills. Heat still clung to the range pad as the last drill wrapped. Corporal Mason Roar failed his final checkpoint. Ava silently marked the clipboard without even lifting her eyes. It was the silence that did it. She didn't shame him. She didn't need to. And that was worse. They packed up in silence. 20 minutes later, Roar was still sitting on the edge of the barracks porch, watching her shadow move under the dim cage lights. She's trying to show us up, Pike said. She wants us watching, Klein added. Roar finally stood. No, I'm done talking. She walks around like she's untouchable. Like rules don't apply. She needs a reset. A reminder she's not above anyone here. Just another body. Klein checked his watch. Lights out in 20. Pike stood next. Then we do it before the cage closes. Sear was already unlocking his phone. Battery's full. You want angle or sound? Roar grabbed his shoulder and pulled him close. I want proof she's not a goddamn ghost. That's it. Senior Chief Ava Sloan returned to her barracks room just before lights out. Her shirt was soaked. 12 minutes later, she stepped out of the tiny shower stall. Boots outside. 4 sets. 1 outside the door, 2 flanking the wall, 1 watching the corridor behind. She reached for her folded clothes calmly. The knock came next. Loud, flat, measured. Then a voice, open up, sexy underscore underscore you forgot to salute your betters. The knob rattled once, locked. Then the door slammed open. Roar led the charge, stepping inside without hesitation. Pike followed, grinning. Sear held up his phone immediately, lens blinking red. Klein stood in the hall, blocking the light. Ava stood in the middle of the room, arms at her side, eyes locked on them. Roar took 2 slow steps forward. Well, he said softly, isn't this cozy? Pike cracked his knuckles. You ever been taught respect by someone younger? Ava's voice came low and unshaken. Leave now. Roar grinned wider. You going to make us? He reached out and touched her arm. Ava's voice stayed level. You have 10 seconds to make the smartest decision you've made all week. Roar leaned in. Or what, sweetheart? The moment Roar's fingers tightened on her arm, Ava Sloane moved without warning. Her left hand snapped up, trapping Roar's wrist. Not a grab, a lock. She moved with the clean, practiced precision of years of training. Roar's confidence cracked instantly. She pivoted and forced him down to one knee. Behind him, Pike surged forward. Underscore underscore. Ava didn't even look at him. She caught his wrist mid-grab and drove her knee hard into his upper thigh. Pike's mouth opened, but the sound was strangled. She slammed him chest first into the wall panel. Sear was still filming, but the grin was gone now. Ava turned and looked directly into the camera. Good, she said quietly. Keep recording. Sear froze. Ava reached out, seized the phone, and drove her palm into his chest. He stumbled back into the footlocker. Then Klein moved. The big one. Ava shifted sideways. Her heel hooked his ankle, and his balance disappeared. He crashed to the floor. Ava didn't follow with violence. She stood over him and spoke like she was counting items on a list. On your knees. Hands where I can see them. She lifted the phone, showing the blinking red dot to all of them. Congratulations, she added. You just created the evidence. The security detail arrived soon after. Ava stood in the doorway. She handed her ID and the phone to the MP. I'm Senior Chief Ava Sloane, she said. Inside this room are 3 restrained Marines who broke into a senior instructor's quarters with the intent to intimidate and film her without consent. The MP watched the video. The audio was unmistakable. The MP's posture changed instantly. Secure the 3 in the room, he barked. By 0600 the next morning, the command tent was thick with tension. Range Annex Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Gaines, sat at the center of the table. I reviewed the footage 3 times, he said. It's unambiguous. It's not just about what they did, Ava said. It's about why they believe they could. She placed her log in front of him. Access badge data, internal comms logs, ignored complaints. The fallout was total. Roar, Pike, Sear, and Klein were processed for court-martial. The video they intended to use to humiliate her became the evidence that ended their careers. The next morning, the yard looked normal, but the air had changed. The laughing stopped when Ava walked by. Not out of fear, but recognition that the standards were real. Ava didn't make a speech. She simply opened her binder and said, First drill. Let's move. Justice had been served with the quiet, surgical precision of a woman who knew exactly who she was. What do you think? Do you think those men would have ever stopped if they hadn't been exposed with evidence? If you were in Ava's position, would you have handled it quietly or forced the whole command to face it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this story made you feel something, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you never miss a true story. Share this with someone who needs a reminder about consequences. I'll see you in the next one.